Okay, so welcome to session 112. Our inputs are working today, unlike yesterday. So no last minute rushing as we start the game. I will have one of our players introduce themselves before I go into the full session introduction. So online today we have Jeremy.
Good evening all, yes, I'm playing Dmitry Dimitrov, the fine upstanding citizen of Karamikos, or rather Belgrado, as it should be better known, but hey, we'll work on that. He obviously needs no introduction at all, because everybody knows Dmitry, everyone knows how kind, giving, wonderful he is, always willing to help out and provide the information that people need to get through whatever's in front of them.
That's a lie.
Don't worry, he also provides cake.
I will catch up with you guys soon, and I will be back again in the very near future.
Okay, so I'll have Martin also introduce himself.
So I'm a Trellin Silverleaf, a Kenzai monk, level 12. I'm a neutral good half of the Kenzai, and a wood elf as well. I don't have a lot of charisma. It's my weakest stat, but so I kind of just lurk in the background. Well, given that I'm 6'3", or 6'4", it's probably looming.
Hey, lurking and looming, very similar.
Yeah. That'll do. Thank you.
All good. And next online we have is Mark.
Hi, I play Dwarven Weapon Master Specialist Bradshaw Dugan. Quite a young dwarf by dwarf age, but very sprightly and very interesting conversations with Dimitri. Bradshaw's been asleep the last couple of sessions because he needs a bit of a sleep, so he's catching up with things today. So. Dwarven sleeps, that's usually a bit long.
Well, they do say beware what you drink or eat.
Yeah, there was 2 beers that last session, or a couple of sessions ago.
Okay, so we are up to Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 5 of the storyline. So far they have, at the request of Redrian, travelled to Karamikos to take a skyship to Alphatia and help broker a treaty with the Empire of Alphatia and the Grand Duchy of Karamikos, such that Karamikos will be freed to help Darrakan in the Great War. Otherwise, Karamikos will be fighting Alphatia. And as each of you it has your land and titles associated with Karamikos, it was in your interest to broker the treaty. And as people brokering the treaty, you're literally being couriers to take the person who had done all the hard work back to Karamikos to make sure they could all be signed. But before you could complete that task, you decided to help the gnomes while you're there so that they could also leave the nation of mages, because, well, they didn't want to just be servants of the Alphatians, but they needed help getting their Sky City flying again. Seems that its starter light had gone out and they needed to replace it.
Cool.
So they flew to the nation of Thothia, which is an Egyptian derivative, and found out that the skyship they're using to get there was built by some of their ancestors. So the ship gains power over time. So the longer the vehicles are maintained, the more powerful they can become. As Nithian magic is generational magic.
What does that mean?
Meaning that the power of it increases with each generation that uses it. So if it's made for you, it's not going to be as powerful as when you pass it over to a descendant or an heir, because they will add power to it as well as have the power you used with it. And then when they pass it on to their heir, it's much like the Elven Moonblade was designed along the same premise.
Yeah.
That for each wielder, it adds a rune and becomes more powerful.
Yep.
And it really does fly in the face of tradition of newer is better. Because a lot of the other races don't deal in generational technology. Let's just build a new one and scrap the old.
Oh.
And as the elves live for so long, they don't even consider generational tech.
Mm-hmm.
Considering they could literally live long enough to see their great-great-great-grandfather and their great-great-great daughter or son.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, it's basically, yeah, one of my ancestors wielded this. I knew him. He was a good bloke. And I was thinking of going to hand this over to one of my, down the tree descendants. They're just about to come up to their naming ceremony.
Cool.
It doesn't quite have the same historical impact when you can literally live for so long. You can see 8 generations before or after.
Right.
Could you literally imagine that? We're lucky if we can have 2 to 3 generations ahead and behind.
Yeah. Maybe 4, but that's a stretch. I never met my grandfather.
Yeah, 4 is an outlier. 2 is generally standard. Most people generally are able to comprehend meeting their grandparents if they're still alive. And potentially see their grandchildren before they die.
Yeah.
But if you go beyond that, imagine having that 10 times over, and it's like, that's a huge amount.
Right.
And especially imagine if one of them adopts a human. Yeah. There's 100 descendants through a genetic history tree I can give to my goddaughter I have here. Here, look, yes, I made this for one of your distant ancestors. He was a good bloke. So that's why that the magic for the shorter-lived races seems to be better when it is enhanced by each generation. So they had a Maze of the Minotaur where they managed to use heads to escape unscathed.
Yes.
I'm sure you don't need much explanation about what that means.
Well, we kind of guilt-tripped one of the underlings into having his head pierced, but whatever.
Well, he wasn't using it that much anyway. And so they found out that for the Thothians to build a magical item to generate enough power to restart the gnomish Sky City, would probably cost them about 1,000 years of build up to get to that power level.
Right.
They are very good with their maths, so they could literally tell you how long and what sort of rituals would be required to get to that point.
Yep.
But their magic system has been built with great power coming at great cost.
Okay.
As a stopgap from someone seeking to annihilate the world in their own lifetime. They see that as the fallacy of other races or cultures. Go, Mark.
So this is a side quest. Was this in relation to help broker the deal between Arphania and Karamikos, or was that already been done?
No, the brokerage is half completed. You've now got to take the document and the document holder back to Karamikos.
Okay.
But of course, side quests happen, and I'm sure many side quests will happen before you actually manage to complete the main quest.
Well, I think aren't we on the trip to the moon?
You are. So once you realise you couldn't get help there, the next one was to travel to the Space Cats and find out if they're able to assist you.
Space Cats. Then we said Space Cats.
Yep.
Just to make sure I heard that right.
Yep, there were Space Cats.
Not Space Dogs, but Space Cats.
Space Cats, yes.
Thundercat.
So Rakasta, not Raksashas.
Gotcha. Okay. I said gotcha with a smile on my face when you said that. So, yeah.
It's okay, a lot of people get them confused because the Tabaxi were around the same time of the Raksasha, but the Raksasha was not based around domestic cats. They were based around the great cats.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so they see the Tabaxi as the inbred shame of their people that they like to remove from people's sight permanently.
Yeah. That's no. If everyone's watching this, so we don't have any things to catch right now. Okay. It was confirmed in the station.
And while you've been travelling on the skyship, Plumman has managed to find a one-sided love affair with a bearfolk brawler.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason to dwell on that.
I don't want to know anymore, really, honestly. It's too much information already.
Well, his character was in love, the NPC was not.
Oh, that could be that could cause problems later on. I see it.
That's okay. She's more than happy to let him down gently while dropping him off the side of a skyship while it's moving.
Wow, that's very deep. Okay.
Well, I'm sure he'll have plenty to think about on his way down.
Yes, I've been there on a date once before. So, yeah.
Which you said alight, and then found out was your brother.
That's right. So, whatever he thinks of, can't be worse than that.
Well, who knows? He may actually be thinking of that moment.
Why did somebody light his goat on fire? Yeah, it was a brother. Yeah.
No, not why did he light his goat on fire?
That's right, but would Plowman go to that level? I don't think he would go to that level of thinking.
This reminds me of the time that Bradshaw lit his mount on fire and jumped into a pile of gnomish airships.
That's right. Okay.
They also found out that while they were in Alphatia, that your group has been immortalized as the murderers and terrorists who blew up their city.
Well, surely our vanquishment of the Minotaurs, that would all be whitewashed.
Well, the thing is, they literally have your bodies. So they believe that they have executed them, so they don't believe they're still running around, and they have been duly punished because their souls are unreachable, because they went back to your bodies.
Okay.
So from a magical perspective, they believe that you are punished and gone to some form of fiendish land for torment.
Okay.
But just because someone believes that doesn't mean it's true.
That could be said even with Dimitri at a pub. So. Is that too soon?
But they do have the bodies that you used during that time loop, because the bodies didn't return with you. They were left behind.
Yeah.
Which does make it an interesting thing to find. You were actually able to see yourself suspended in some form of crystal containment on display for the crowds to see the terrorists of Sudsville.
Okay.
At which point most of the group decided not to use their names.
Yes.
Because they got to meet the Empress of Alphatia right after that.
Yeah.
As you would.
So.
And so they were greeted by the headmaster of the Karamikos College of Magic, or at least College to be of Magic. As he's the head of the Magicians Guild at the moment, and has brokered, as part of the peace treaty, Alphatia sponsoring a magic college in the main city of Karamikos. So yes, Bradshaw is now partly responsible for more wizards being trained in in Karamikos.
I feel dirty inside right now. I do not help this, did I? Really?
Oh no, you were instrumental in it, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure Dimitri would tell me all about it.
Well, you could always just let Dimitri take credit for it. I'm sure he won't mind.
Oh, he would not mind at all, I think. Since there's no such thing as magic, it's all just God stuff. So.
I'm sure he would know about magic, because for him magic is one of those taboo things of Rockholm, where they believe wizards are cursed.
That's right. I knew that Dimitri was cursed from the first time I met him.
But clerics and druids are okay.
That's correct.
Oh, that's good.
So after their time in Alphatia, they learned that the gnomes needed their big city flying ship to be restarted, as the main engine had shut down during the rain of fire you guys caused. And they had 3 places that they believed you could actually reach. First one was Thothia, who have the ability to generate magic beyond nearly every other nation's capacity. Which they said they could do it, just that it would take so long to do that it wasn't in the time frame that you thought feasible. The second one was to go to the hidden moon of Mystara, because there are 2 moons, you only see one. The dwarves don't really track the second one because they don't really believe it exists. Well, if you can't see it, it's not real.
Fair enough.
I'm sure there are some. The skies is a fabrication as well because they never leave the tunnels.
Yeah.
So unlike flat earthers, there's just rock everywhere. You go up through rock, you go down through rock. There's rock everywhere. If there's no rock, you've just gone crazy. And so after having your investigations there, your next point of call is to fly to the second moon known as Patera or Myoshima, depending on who you speak to. And it's for 3 days directly above where you are. Its atmosphere is touching Mystara's atmosphere, so you don't need a void ship to travel between the moon and the world.
And is it the same atmosphere?
It is apparently breathable, but there's only been a couple of people who have made it through and back.
Right.
That doesn't actually live there.
Okay.
And
is there a way we can help the gnomes with their skyship?
Well, the gnome powering the engine of the vessel is simply because he's a wizard. It requires a wizard to power it.
Oh, okay.
And because it's a wizard, he's also very secretive. So he would rather the ship fall to the ground than tell you how it works.
Right.
Well, that's his bread and butter, so he's not going to tell anyone how it works.
Well, so Dimitri can't learn how it works, or?
Dimitri can try, but the gnome will introduce basically conjecture and misleading directions, just so no one else can actually do it without him.
No worries.
Well, he's a gnome after all, and most people know that it's very hard to get a better in a contractual deal with a gnome. They usually come out on top unless you've got better lawyers. And so we finished last session with you guys jumping in the skyship and taking off, leaving the ground far behind, and expecting to have a day and a half on the hidden moon before you have to head back or risk having to be there for 3 months before you can return.
Right.
And if it was, if you were stuck there, you have no guarantee you'd be welcome.
You know what? The super cat won't extend the generosity of their welcoming.
They are not known for sharing their technology, let alone advertising where they are.
Right.
So literally, you're heading into their home unannounced.
Okay.
Just that you have access to a few people who know some of their secrets.
Well, the fact that there's 2 moons.
Yep. Your captain has a astroglobe showing the orbits of both moons.
Ah, that's handy.
So, just amusing here, Mark. Your Discord is telling us you're playing World of Warcraft right now.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It is.
How do you snaffle that feature?
I don't know how I snaffle that feature.
Normally, if you have Discord running and you're playing a game, it will announce that you're playing a game.
Ah,
Lovely Discord.
right.
Well, it does make it interesting when I don't mention to people that, hey, yeah, I know you spent half the game actually playing something else. That's probably why you missed a few things.
No, I was listening. I know I did notice it come up going, is it just me that sees that, or does Martin see that too? And I was like, I didn't know that. So, yeah. Now I know that everyone sees it, that's all good.
I don't always look, but when I have most people online is when I can actually pay attention to what's happening there.
That's very cool.
Oh.
Good evening.
Hey, Jeremy.
What the secret hidden group that come up?
We saw Mark had started World of Warcraft in the middle of the conversation because Discord told us.
That's right. I was a bad man.
And for once I actually mentioned it to the person instead of waiting till after the game and going, yeah, I saw you watching World of Warcraft for playing it for all of the game. It can even sometimes show if you're playing movies or other stuff in the background. It's nice having a tool to dob you in, isn't it?
That's right. It's all good. I saw it too, and I was like, does Martin see this? I don't know. It's okay. That's okay. Now I know that it's both ways.
It is both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you are...
Yes, so you're going to tell where Martin played World of Warcraft as well.
Maybe I was painting him. We don't know. Who knows?
Oh, well, it'd be a little harder because I do have a gaming computer that I can access that doesn't have Discord on there.
Of course, the moment will notice what you're doing anyway.
It would be, especially because one, you'd hear the music, or I'd be visibly wearing a headset.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Jeremy, all you've missed is the introductions and me giving them a little bit more thorough update of what has transpired to date, and that they're heading for the second moon, and they're not expected.
And is it called, are they called Super Cat, or?
They are called the Rakasta, or as a people they're known as the Myoshima. So, like, you're part of the Kalari clan, but you're also an elf. But you're either a wood elf or a high elf or something like that. So you can have many labels and still be one thing. As a species, they're Rakasta. As a people, they're Myoshimans.
Alright, so I don't want to be offensive.
Be purely plain what you know about.
Yeah, just don't call them Tabaxi.
And avoid piggy as well.
Does it make him red cats? Yeah.
Generally, it is a declaration of war as far as they're concerned.
Okay, I'll keep my comments to myself. Okay, gotcha.
Though
That is also not an appropriate gift.
Well, catnip? Yeah, okay, understood. Yeah.
Okay, so you do notice that the light starts to dim as you get higher, and the color of it is definitely going into a green hue, as it's also coming to the full moon of the main moon, known as Mystara.
Okay. Are we...
Go ahead.
Are we... sufficiently going
at a rate in order to escape velocity or the escape velocity, or I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's not a phrase, or, yeah.
So while the atmosphere is connected, there's no need for an escape velocity.
Okay.
Because technically, the two atmospheres are connected.
Right. Cool.
But the ship you're in is definitely not rated for void travel.
Yeah.
Are you going back again while the atmospheres remain connected?
Well, I mean, that hasn't stopped us before, but whatever.
I said wanted, but as I say, Dimitri would be, well, wouldn't necessarily be unhappy to have to spend an extra few months there to get more time to learn about the cases, but it would interrupt our timeline significantly. And Dimitri's also got the declaration of adaptation, so technically he could get back. Unfortunately, the crew who come on the ship wouldn't necessarily, but I'm sure Dimitri's made to work out how to fly the ship well enough by now.
Mostly except for the fact that the gnome has been misleading you the whole time.
What?
The gnome who powers the arcane engine that flies the ship won't tell anyone how it really works.
Okay.
That's as part of his guild. Okay, so you do notice when it transitions from Mystara to Myoshima as the stars just disappear. You don't see any real light except for a shimmering circle that seems to be getting bigger below you. When that circle starts shrinking again is when it is leaving Mystara's atmosphere.
Cool.
Right.
So you will sometimes get various flying creatures traveling between the two locations because if they can get high enough, they can fly through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. And as you come into
Like dragon. That's example.
dragons are amongst those that do that. Yeah.
Cool.
As you come into the region of the moon, you can actually see many of the space cats buildings moving through the air on flame.
Oh.
Basically, they didn't really disguise their spaceships very well on the planet. They just painted signs and hung things off it.
But who's able to right to cross over? But I guess there's no need for void ship. So maybe anyone can cross over.
Well, the Rakasta here, their vessels are void ships.
Okay.
Well, yes. They travel between the stars or between the worlds without necessarily waiting for them to join up.
And there's a good chance that they patrol the skies heavily during the the 4 periods a year where the atmospheres connect.
Mm-hmm. Now, these crew have done this trip before, haven't they? They've been to the moon?
The captain has, yes, but the rest of the crew has not.
Okay. Well, I mean, you'll be able to spend time with Sid for gain as much information as you can about what to expect from these quizzes.
Well,
Recall the reports and information from other regular investigation bureau teams that have happened to come across Explicit before, in particular Bob.
He does tell you that he was a what would you call? He was an airman on one of the vessels that came up here. The captain of the ship was Prince Haldemar.
Of Alphasia?
Of Alphasia, yes.
Yep.
And one of his crew had come from here as well. I believe it was his first mate, he says.
Yeah.
And as you go in, you can see many distinct areas on the surface. And you can see that there is a big glowing ring on the side of the moon.
As in, like from Dimitri's perspective, like we're talking like a huge magical circle or something like that, or?
Well, from Dimitri's perspective, it does look like a huge magical circle until he realizes that it's actually an opening and he's seeing the system's third sun inside the moon.
Yeah. So the moon is another hollow world.
The moon is another hollow world.
Looking around this system, I'd almost start believing in intelligent design. Almost like I was playing this place.
But the gravity effect of the star helps create the shroud around the moon.
Is there much evidence of inhabitation or civilization on the surface of the moon?
Much. You can make out distinct cultures. Some of it looks like it's laid out in a more fantasy style. And there's quite a few gleaming with larger void ships on the surface. Large enough that you think you're maybe 50 to 100,000 mile away from some of them, and they look almost as big as ones that are about 100 mile away. So it was said that the Rakasta protect the void region around the planet, keeping out things that would try to harvest from this world. Much like the Alphatians used to protect the astral space around the world.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'll take that role up again as soon as they manage to overcome the flight setback of a rock and a couple of ships here and there.
Yeah, the loss of 3,000 years worth of ships.
Yes.
I can't hold it back for too long.
And I'm sure... Go ahead.
The way this world's going at the moment, who's going to want to invade it?
Maybe those who once owned it.
Yeah. We'll deal with that when they come.
Okay, so yes, you come. As you come in, you see one of the smaller void ships come up towards you. And it seems to unfold itself, giving it a deck where you can see some of the cats standing with their magical items and magical suits they wear. phone on quiet for the moment, so it doesn't keep beeping. So yes.
I thought that was not playing World of Warcraft too.
Okay, so yes, they call out to you. Identify yourselves.
Well,
You have a name?
what? You mean
It's
the
going to be
intro?
No.
For these purposes, I'm assuming that it would be announcing, or does he not want to be known as the Wave Rider here, or?
That sounds good. Wave Riders.
Yeah, Sid says he leaves it up to your diplomatic skills to not get them shot down.
So like I said, we'll go with, if you have a box or something, or they're coming to board or whatever, I don't know if their normal sequence would be, but we will just describe the fact that yes, we are travelers from the world below, happy to visit and investigate this fine world.
They pause for a moment and then go, and you're sure you can hear one of them saying, "Oh, great, the aliens have arrived."
Well, how commonplace is this for people to come from Mystara?
Most of Mystara doesn't know this world exists. And those that do know it exists, most of them wouldn't have access to a ship to get here.
Well, that would be quite unique and worthy of respect. Oh, whatever.
So acknowledge that like they get them all the time, and
technically from their and technically from their perspective, anyone from Mystara is an alien.
Yeah. It's not like we've been the first visitors that they've dealt with, and considering the fact that they've certainly had ships and crew and explorer teams go down to the what we would think of as the surface. It couldn't necessarily be a shock or a surprise, although individuals may not have seen it happen before.
Okay, so the ship comes right up alongside and uses its magic to connect to you.
I go to the matrix and say, what's the friendly welcome thing for these cat-like people? Do I shake their hand? Do I meow? What's the deal?
Don't try to meow. Quick greeting, I'm sure we'll find out when we get there, when we meet them.
Okay.
The report that the team that met up with one of these creatures down on the Isle of Dread had the impression that whilst their mannerisms are odd, they're not necessarily untoward or unexpected.
Good. Open handshake. Gotcha.
If they offer their hand, go for it.
And you see coming across 2 10-foot bipedal cats that make you think lion. with a almost glorious mane to go with it.
Well, that's kind of noble.
And that's when you realize that they also got what very much looks like plate mail, but from a player's perspective, more resembles what you'd expect Iron Man to be walking across in.
That looks nice. I buy the handiwork. What kind of handiwork is it from a dwarf perspective? Is it nice or is it actually below dwarven standard?
You can't even recognize the alloys used.
Okay, I will ask questions about that later.
And you see that instead of having what you expect to be hands, they actually have claws that could quite easily circle either of your heads with just one claw.
Oh. Maybe the handshaking's out the window.
Like I said, Dimitri will give Bradford a bit of a look, but not make any comment. But make you the idea of, well, yeah, you can shake that if you wish.
I will just say welcome.
So,
Welcome aboard our ship.
He looks down at Bradshaw. He pretty much has to look down at all of you.
I know.
And he speaks in a stilted language that you gave him in, I'm assuming you used Thiatin.
Yeah, I'll use that.
Elevation would have been what?
Bradshaw was Bradshaw here.
This
This
is
is a common elevation initially, simply, well, okay, depending on what they yelled out in, if you understood the language they yelled out in initially, then you respond in that, definitely. But considering the fact that Alphasia would be the most common ship that would have been coming in, also probably gnomish, but even the gnomes were very old. This is a gnomish built ship, but it's a very old gnomish built ship. The current gnomes can't do it, can they?
it's a gnomish modified ship. It was a Nithian built ship.
Okay. But like the current gnomes, are they normally the ones that might have potentially made a trip up here before?
You only know of Prince Haldemar being here once, and it's rumored that maybe one of the Haldanic warbirds made it up here.
Yeah, so we would, unless they called out in a language that
They would have used
responded.
they would have used Alphatian because your ship is your skyship is painted up in the Alphatian design.
Yeah. I would have been opening up the district without the fashion. So I don't know whether I would expect that Bradshaw and Dorella can speak Alphatian.
Yeah, look, I do. If that's the case, I would definitely reply back and say welcome.
We are Alphatian, but not speak.
Well, they the ones who came across were not the ones who called out to you.
Right.
But then, yeah, so greetings. We appreciate the welcome to your world.
He does ask for you and your crew to be on deck while he summons over the Overseer. He's very stilting in his speaking to you because Alphatian is not a tongue he's proficient with.
Now, in the reports when the it was actually before, that ex-minister Bback had no own language that no one else could understand. Can you remember correctly?
Yes, that was correct. So they
And I think the phonics involved.
So the Racasta's language also included frequencies that most people can't hear.
Yeah.
Though
Is there
Trellin
any
is
indication that-
quite capable of hearing a majority of their frequencies.
From that discussion with Bob, was there any indication of other languages that they were likely to speak more fluently? Obviously, Bob might have been a bit different to the standard, but
They generally learn the language of those they're going to deal with.
yeah. So if they're not going down, then they don't need to worry about learning other languages.
Yep. They generally
well-
have their own training. So he never really told you what to expect if you arrived on their turf.
But we will stick with our base then, and Dimitri will ask whether or not he's more familiar with any of the other languages of the world below.
Well, if you're still wearing the amulet of language, technically he automatically understands anything you say, and you automatically understand anything he says.
Yeah. That applies to Krallen, but not the. I'm not about that sure, but definitely not with Dimitri.
So Trellin always understands.
Yes. But I'm not sure if I can speak.
Well, when you speak it, whoever hears you understands as if it's their native language.
No.
Which means you can never learn how to pronounce something in another language while you're wearing the necklace.
Okay.
And
If you never learn to speak another language, you're always speaking your own language. And hearing your own language.
which means you definitely don't want to have things that do not use Elven as the command words.
Right. So I've got here, hear all languages in common.
In common, yes.
Yeah.
It's technically in your native language.
Yeah.
But as far as you're concerned, it's in a common language to you.
Yeah.
It's not like half another language that they know. I guess Dimitri will then inquire of this leader. Did he give a name?
He didn't give a
Or
name.
title?
You assume from the way they're looking around and their stance, these are just the security for the overseer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So Dimitri will ask whether or not whether he may know of Edward would be more comfortable speaking in another language of the world below. Not necessarily expecting him to, but hey, if there is, well and good.
He says,
Otherwise,
one alien language is as good as the other. This one will work, he says, rather brokenly. He doesn't sound very impressed with having to speak.
whereas Dimitri more than happy to speak, and that is.
He raises his paw to his mouth and growls into it, and Trellin hears, instead of a growl, safe to come over. And the next of the Rakasta who comes over looks more like a leopard than a lion in comparison. About 5 foot to the other guy's 10 feet.
Right. So the lions are more bodyguard, and the leopard are a bit more castery.
At least in this particular area, I think there were a couple of lions, weren't there, you said?
There are quite a few lions. They do make up
Yeah.
the majority of the shock troops.
Yeah.
Because they have the extra muscle that most of the others don't have.
How many came on board or were standing around the Wave Rider?
2 of the lion folk came on board.
Yeah.
And then the leopard folk is the one who comes over. Looking at both of you, he says, are you proficient in Alphathian, he says. in a when he speaks, he doesn't have an accent.
More than proficient in innovation, and you yourself are likewise.
Says, good. He pulls out a thin board and a wand and starts poking the board with his wand.
And I'm guessing the wand is about the size of 10 to 15 centimetres long and about a centimetre wide.
About that.
Yeah.
But hey, when you're going to describe things to people, you can describe a clipboard and a pen in many ways.
Well, I was actually imagining more of a pen and a stylus.
It could also be that too, but clipboard and a pen can be a stylus and a pad of some sort. Okay, so he asks, do we have a Dimitros here?
Indeed. You expecting me?
No, but apparently you have interacted with our kind before and weren't killed for it. So that's a plus in your favour.
And I'm most interested pieces, and it's pleasing to meet you.
And do we have here a Bradshaw Dugan?
Oh, we do, I say in a joyful manner. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm sure the pleasure's all yours, he says. Complete straight face sort of thing. Then he turns around and says, and that means we must have a Trellin Silverleaf, is it?
Yes. I don't remember seeing you, but...
Oh, we've never met, but I believe you have met some of my kind, and they've sent him some reports.
Okay, cool.
Apparently they said they may be stupid enough to come here. I guess I lost the bet.
We heard wondrous stories of your marvellous world and your marvellous technology. I'm certainly always interested in such things. But it's not actually the main purpose around this.
Do you wish to discuss that here or on the surface?
The did he give a name yet?
He just calls himself the Overseer to you.
Yeah, did I'll say, happy to discuss it where the most appropriate is you're the person we should walk to as to where we might find the equipment we're looking for.
Well, I'm the person who gets to determine whether or not we turn you away, burn your ship to ash here, or throw you in some form of holding cell until we can determine what to do with you.
In which case then, there's like years when you prefer to actually discuss the immediate future.
Sure, if you can convince me why I should let you through, I will give you an escort to where you need to go. Either way, you'll get an escort.
Now, I'm not certain exactly how much information or knowledge you have about the world below and the current goings on. However, right now we are trying to find replacement equipment for one of the ships down below. In fact, one of the very light ships down below, being a floating citadel, isn't it?
It's bigger than a floating citadel. It is equivalent of a small town.
Yeah. I believe you, or at least your kind, have had some interactions with some of the source of folk upon our world, the gnomes, and their attempts to develop and adapt scientific technology of various types?
Yes, we have a standard policy on not dealing with gnomes.
And appropriate options too.
Well, the last gnome we traded with launched the third moon into space.
It would be an unfortunate event at the time.
Well, we didn't think anything wrong of it, and that taught us that the less evolved races shouldn't be given advanced technology, so we created a directive to stop giving people who are not ready for the technology yet.
That's like your first directive?
We do call it directive number 1.
I'm sure there's a lot of directive number 1.
Well, people interpret it differently, but it's roughly down to the same thing, is don't give someone something that can be used to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly. The same sort of thing is, don't give a baby matches. As I say, we are trying to recover particular pieces of equipment that we're led to believe may be available amongst your kind, and obviously we are willing to pay or trade well for such items if it's available.
Do you have a schematic or a rendered item version of it?
I'm pretty certain we've got certainly got drawings about what we're looking for.
You do have drawings.
I can't remember when we've actually got one of the dead ones.
Well, the dead one is actually bigger than your skyship.
Okay, right. I think the fact when we were down in Ethiopia, we recognised the stuff amongst the library, the pieces and the other stuff. But yes, yes, we have to come at it.
He looks at it, and you can hear a bit of a tisking from him. And they call this a schematic. He looks at it and says, yes, this is something that our people can produce. But I'm not so sure of scale and power requirements.
Doesn't have any details on it.
Well, he doesn't quite trust gnomish figures and projections. Something about sending a moon out of orbit and fleeing into the depths of space.
It's not sure whether they did that deliberately yet or not, or whether it was an accident.
Oh, he believes it was an accident. It was a testing of their system to allow them to move the third moon to wherever they needed. And on the initial test run, it said it was shot off into space.
And like, as a player, I don't know the history of anything like that. I'm sure Dimitri's probably at least aware of it, if anybody would be. How long ago are we talking about this?
So do you remember when you were in the Hollow World and you spoke to gnomes on a floating continent?
Yes.
That was them, their ancestors.
Okay.
So the third moon has certainly been gone for as long as modern history from our perspective, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
From what they can tell from the schematics, just from his estimation, is they're not sure they can meet the power requirements, but they can take it to some of their scientists and see what they think.
Well, I mean, you could accept, so when he's uncertain about the actual dimensions and things like that, Dimitri can certainly provide additional details on exactly what volume or space the item is designed to fit into on the ship. As far as power requirements goes, obviously it's probably something that's very difficult. I suspect Alphasia doesn't necessarily have the appropriate words to actually describe the power requirements. But Dimitri will aim to actually provide much information on the book. Would be also the statement for the concept of it's been suggested the power is as much a once-off requirement. It seems that the system itself should be able to maintain the charge on the item once it gets started. You just necessarily need to maintain that charge long term, just be able to provide it on one occasion. But I would be most interested in discussing this further with your partner to help them come up with the requirements.
Well, he suggests you and those you want to be part of this discussion come over onto his vessel, and he will have your captain maintain distance here while he takes you to the scientists.
Oh yeah, I'll go and have a look. I'm not saying I'll be at a particular level, but let's go around.
To let your body respond this, but yes, certainly I will. Is he actually nearby around the top, or is he deliberately getting more distant from the whole situation?
Oh, he and the rest of his crew are up on deck, knowing that the Space Cats probably could tell where they are, and they had demanded they all get on deck.
Yeah. So the certainly Dimitri will try and have it. Well, that certainly generous offer. Thank you very much. I will talk to the captain of the crew and explain the situation. And I'll be ready to depart with you very shortly.
He says, don't take too long, as he starts walking back onto his ship.
Do we want to take the gnome who will be responsible for levitating the city?
Well, the gnome you have with you is not part of the city crew.
The gnome is engineer for the ship itself. And I'm assuming he's with the captain of the crew, they're already told to be up on deck.
Yep, he is with the captain and the crew, and he's not upset at all by the accusations of how badly the gnomes deal with stuff.
Okay.
He sort of just nods and shrugs and says he would do the same thing.
Well, I'm pretty certain Dimitri got the impression from I can't really say really well, but this particular gnome, there's a reason he's not getting that other gnomes for the first time. It's one of those rare gnomes where things really work.
Well, he went in for magic instead of science.
Yeah. Okay, we'll click to see the rest of the crew, and obviously you heard the conversation. If you're happy to wait here, we'll go over. Dimitri will look towards the engineer to give him the implicit permission of, hey, you're welcome to come over if you wish to, and like, look at the rest of the crew there. to join, but
they all seem happy not to go there because that they do know that angering them means you don't come back.
well, recognising that, well, yeah, there's not likely to be anyone on the ship aside from the beach himself, of course, who will be able to provide any input into the discussion. And also, yes, recognising that, leaving the ship just makes it that much harder step to actually get off back to the ship again and back home again if needed. So he's not required for another one back to the couple or leave. And then, yep.
I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go. Yeah.
And okay. While Dimitri is not requested or in a connected by way, he is assuming that Crowlin and Bradshaw came along, but again, obviously Dimitri's not affected actually contributing to the conversation. Coming? Is Bradshaw coming?
Everyone turns and looks at Bradshaw.
Oh, Dimitri doesn't hit you all times, he's not even Bradshaw follows.
He probably sees that.
Are you there, Mark? Hello, Mark. May have stepped away from his
playing World of Warcraft?
He may have stepped away from the computer. Okay,
Well, we'll assume that he followed.
so yes, you get on the ship and you're escorted to an area with some benches. And they said, unfortunately, you won't be able to see how we get there.
A room with no windows.
Yes.
Okay.
We like to keep our secrets.
We're all too familiar with what happened on our face, yeah.
And you feel a vibration through their vessel as it moves on. About
People through Dimitri's little list to see if he might have better words, but apparently not.
So 2 hours later, it comes to a stop, and you can feel a clang through the deck plate as the door opens, and you can see quite a few different Rakasta here. A couple of the lion folk, a few tiger folk, but lots of jaguar, panther, cheetah, and just about any other cat type you can imagine.
Will we, do we feel movement and or sounds of engines and things like that when that came out of us?
You did.
Okay, yeah.
And as you come out, you see them taking you through corridors where there are a few windows to the outside, and what you do see, you see what appears to be a white sun.
A white sun. So you're saying that the Dimitri's power really lets affect you here because you don't have a yellow sun?
Well, Hollywood has a red sun.
Yes, I know.
Who knows what the white sun will do to you in that aspect. So you, after seeing that through the portholes, you find yourself taken to a conference room where there are many of these cats sitting around a oval table, and many drawings up on a wall and various walls around the room showing the problem that you've presented to them.
Okay. Obviously, they've been thinking about this for the last couple of hours while we were traveling.
They must have sent word ahead. You imagine they had some... You imagine they had sending stones of their own.
Yeah, I know that's right. So the actually transferred from the ship we were travelling on into this other location, is that right?
You have, but you're not exactly sure when you were on one and when you got onto this. The corridors all look similar.
Okay. Looking at the porthole, and we beyond the white sun, do we see the inside world like we've experienced on Hollow type stuff?
You can see what appears to be weather patterns, clouds, and occasional glimpses of water, mountains, and greenery. But you also see shimmering silver behemoths, like the floating continents, also above those areas.
But yeah, but not actually round as far as we can tell. Like, Demetrius is trying to get an idea of the internal circumference, to get an idea of the size of this moon, since we've never actually seen it. Know how big it is initially.
You would expect it would be probably maybe a quarter of the size of Mystara or less.
Yep.
Cool.
Which
So by comparison to most worlds, it's like Earth, and therefore has a bloody big moon.
and the other moon is bigger, but it's generally further away.
Yep.
But as you've not really you don't really have a scale. It's not always easy to tell.
No. Well, Demetrius will walk in and they say, looking at the pictures on the walls, good. You've already started to get a handle on the situation.
So you see one wall looks like it's got power calculations of trying to generate enough to ignite the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And the text up there seems to refer to creating cold fusion and having it running, as it's written up as theoretical.
Whilst avoiding, or certainly trying to avoid looking into it, Demetrius will be spending some time to actually just examine the pictures so I can get an idea of what's going on and things like that. I think that with his intelligence, you probably pick it up moderately quickly, particularly after the time you spent on the working with Redren on the not the Beagle.
And so from their level of technology, you realise they're not up to the scale of Not the Beagle.
Yeah.
So that is still beyond their tech level. And that as far as they're behind this, the Not the Beagle was more than that behind Redrian's ship.
Yeah. And that's right. Demetrius certainly has an understanding, or at least a conceptual understanding of the relative differences between the Not the Beagle and the Beagle. Obviously, we're all so far ahead of whatever they've done before. And obviously, also still, even the back ends, whilst they are significantly ahead of the rest of the known world, they're still a long way behind the Not the Beagle. Okay, having done the assessment and gone through, Demetrius will confirm that they've got the right sort of dimensions in mind to actually fit the component into the system. And then, as I said, we'll aim to provide some additional information and pointers, possibly starting to lean towards some of the not the legal level technology aspects if they're needed, to help make the theoretical.
Well, they, from what you can tell from their calculations, they don't believe they have the technology to create a device to start the ship that would fit into it.
Can we provide some helpful hint?
Well, from their mathematics, they think that 5 of their largest ships in tandem may be able to create enough of a spark to do so.
But that got me to that say, so talking about the idea of if it's the size of the component can't hold the power that they're looking for, they can't miniaturize the components enough to actually fit into the component, then yes, perhaps it's the idea of designing the components will fit and act as a conduit to a charge to provide that spark, and then that conduit can be disconnected that allow the component to maintain its spot to ensure that the circuit is not working afterwards.
They also, on another board, they're doing calculations of how to raise the Nomu City high enough that when the engine ignites, it's not going to vaporize the city at the same time.
That would be a problem. Maybe city.
Well, the engine is currently sealed by being pressed against the capital city of Sudsville for Alphatia. If the engines ignite to take off, there's a good chance that it will either blow up the Nomu City, blow up Sudsville, or both.
One in 3 times working.
So that's why they're suggesting lifting it off the surface before they actually ignite it.
It would be advantageous if we can reduce the loss of life and property. Well,
And what they're
you mentioned
suggesting?
it might take. Go on.
So what's their suggestion to elevate the city?
They were going to use they're going to use the same 5 vessels that were going to create the spark.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to say the fact that if they've got to use multiple ships to actually provide the jump start, then there's probably no reason why those ships can't be hovering above the citadel, holding it above in the meantime.
And whatever they're using to tether may also be what they can put the conduit down to start it.
Okay.
Another board is doing a rundown of the power output of the Barrier Peak ship you found.
Based on specifications that they already had, or from the description of what dimensions they've been talking about, or?
It seems that they had scanned it at some point.
Right.
But determined they didn't have the capacity to recover it safely.
Yeah. Well, I'll mention to the fact that yes, I wouldn't try and move that ship for quite some time yet, but possibly the Nomu Citadel might be a good trial run before we go that pathway. So if they're their technology is not such that the components of the Navy ship can be going through, does that mean that they don't necessarily have the same or equivalent thermal technology to what the Navy ship was originally built with?
They do refer to Blackmore Tech as being the basis for the Gnomish flying city.
Yep. And are they talking in with forward tones at the idea of a potential source of Blackmore technology?
They basically have a debate on one of the boards about whether or not they should just vaporize the city and remove the tech from the world. Because many Holy Crusades have been done by the elves to remove this tech from existence.
Yeah, but are those Holy Crusades necessarily affected Canberra?
Rakasta.
What? Yes.
So that they do try to keep away from the elves in general.
Yeah. So, but like as a technologically superior race, presumably they would be interested in extending their technology to their technological superiority.
They're applying their own beliefs to technology they haven't learned themselves. They do not believe they're ready for whatever tech that was used to create the power to lift a city. It is theorized that it was the interstellar engine allowing the Beagle to travel between the stars.
Mm-hmm. It makes the idea of whether or not we can get the impression some of these engineers might be interested to see some of the internal workings of the Navy Citadel to reverse engineer some of the stuff there. So,
well, as you move around their drawings, you come across a moving drawing that is showing the Gnomish city in a cutaway view.
Oh, that would mean they can get good solid dimensions for the size of the component where the component going to be in.
Which is why they didn't really trust the Gnomish figures, because they thought the Gnomish figures were not precise enough. There is a comment on there that if they built it to the specifications provided by the gnomes, there would be enough of a gap to create a feedback loop and cause it to explode.
As we all know, the gnomes can be a bit rough with their calculations. Without opportunity, decimal places too early.
Yeah.
And they have a plug designed to replace the point.
The Dimitri also curious that this moving image and the cutaway diagram is there, and potentially also if the multiple people images have any sort of update happening, basically get an idea as to are they getting a feed from somewhere that's updating regularly on how that might be occurring?
Well, you can see that the size of the engine component on the Gnomish Flying City is larger than the Not the Beagle.
Mm-hmm.
So Not the Beagle could quite easily have been a scout ship of the Beagle.
Wow.
Or landing
Or
craft.
what Dimitri's Oh, okay, yeah. So obviously, yeah. Size-wise, you mean?
Yep.
So the like the Nomi Citadel is it's simply big because the Nomi don't really know how to build small.
And it is noted that the engine is running on basically standby, holding the city afloat.
Is that a good thing?
Which means that when you, the Citadel City keeps the Nomi City flying by being on standby.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So the power of the engine and after the gnomes sort of back in the day they managed to bolt this flamboyant technology into Citadel that had been built separately, and the power output of the engine is way more than actually required. You know what I mean?
It's not even running at 1%.
Yeah.
But to power it up, you pretty much have to turn it on.
Mm-hmm. But at the moment, it's like right now, the engine is not running at all, which is the problem. Is that right?
So instead of running on standby, it's actually shut down.
Yeah, so that's why we need to do the spark plug to actually turn it on. And then once it's going, again, it needs to be idle to actually do everything that I want to do. We can talk about it until the maybe that, so, if when we get this up and running, we might want to actually, ensure there's a perfect limit in there, we look at actually for the full power of the engine. I like that, I don't like the elements.
Well, you do suspect that the Rakasa had something to do with the gnomes not being able to utilize it fully?
Yeah. Good move.
That's fine. But the ability to let them float around above the world is not unreasonable. We might also want to put a limit on it to make sure they can't get too high, because otherwise you might get some visitors.
That there is another page that is showing you a series of symbols that appears to be a language to talk to the Gnomish's Citadel's flying city. So it will be limited by technology, not by whatever they push on the buttons.
Yeah. Is it a language that Dimitri can follow at all, potentially from like a very early remnant, or if relic of the not the Beagle computer system language?
It reminds you of some of what you saw when Redrian was fixing the archaic tech.
Yep.
And he called it computer language.
Yep. APL?
From his version of things, he was calling the ship he was working on with you Cobol.
Yeah.
And his version of the Space Cats is they still use assembly.
Well, so I'm guessing then that after a few hours we've had the discussions back and forth. From a theoretical perspective, the reactor believe they can do it. What size of their big ships, and what kind of defences and how close to the surface would they need to get And what kind of defences does Alphasia have against aerial attack, aside from 1,036 level Mexians?
Well, they say that the ships that they would be using are over a mile long.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that many of them, but they will be informing the Alphatians that they're recovering the Nomis citadel due to it being forbidden technology. And they'll give the Alphatians a choice: let them take it or be swatted from space.
From Demetrius' perspective, how the Alphatians like to take the idea of forbidden technology, knowing the fact that they've actually been working not totally hard, but actively to prevent the gnomes from repairing their city, to say they're happy with the gnomes being there to help repair their airship fleet.
Well, it would be a very interesting discussion, considering the entire war with Galantry is over forbidden magic.
Yes.
So that the Alphatians believe the Galantrians are using forbidden magic. So if someone comes along and saying you've got forbidden tech and we're taking it.
Right. The idea of the fact, yes, what their attitude to tech and magic is part of what I'm trying to work out, or what the nature really know.
From their perspective, the Alphatians believe everything is magic, you just got to learn how to utilize it.
Yep. And therefore, but they're calling Galantry using forbidden magic, though.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah. So, noting that, okay, yes, while you could give them an ultimatum like that, perhaps there are other options which may go down more smoothly, or at least require less direct activity by the Alphatians in that sort of way. Because, okay, first of all, they're probably not necessarily keen on relinquishing the ship, because that means they're relinquishing the gnomes. From the Demetrius' perspective, are there good reasons for them to lose for the ship to get taken away?
Well, if from what you hear is true, and the Alphatians come up with a way to ignite the engine themselves, they've now gotten a weapon that could be used to annihilate your homelands.
Yes, but it's not going to quick back here. Demetrius definitely thinking that when the options came up, that hey, if they ignited it without raising the citadel, then it might destroy, or probably would destroy Alphasia, who had 3 chances of destroying Alphasia. That would certainly not be a bad thing from their perspective, but in the time he's been here, and we like that, oh, hang on, maybe the Alphasians aren't necessarily quite so bad after all, and that they might have a point regarding this whole Galantry issue.
Mm-hmm.
It became to not have the Alphatians destroy themselves, but okay, not necessarily give them an opportunity to a direct weapon to take out everything without necessarily further thought.
They do say that the ship as a weapon is too powerful to be left in the hands of those who would abuse it in a war.
Yes.
And the threat of a war on a scale they cannot defend, it would be enough for them to back down. Especially if they come in force when they state it. Especially with most of the Alphatian military currently engaged elsewhere.
Yeah. I'm thinking we may also be able to just encourage them to want to have the ship removed, or the ship removed, if we explain the fact that the technology on the ship is becoming unstable, and therefore the generous assistance of the reactor are here, having noticed it becoming unstable, are here to remove it before it blows up the entirety of Alphasia.
They do say that 3 months ago they approached the Alphatians with an offer to remove the city for them.
Right.
And their response at that time?
Was leave our areas before we make you part of our war effort.
And did you, what explanation or justification did you give them for removing it? They got back to say that they would actually take it off the wall, blast it to pieces. If they use the same system for a then that might be why the operation were not entirely receptive to the plan.
Well, previously they had tried to say that they would help the gnomes get their city moving, and or at least to a safe place where it can be worked on without causing further damage to the city.
From the Alphatian perspective, the Citadel is not causing damage to the Citadel, just a lot of damage when they actually further crash landed. Right?
Occasionally things collapse underneath it still.
Yeah, that's still like it's still settling, so they call that for a bit, but if you do the way basis, happy to accept that, yeah, okay, we might still lose the buildings along the way, but obviously no one losing those things anymore to figure it all out. And the additional manpower or manpower that the Citadel provides makes it a net positive from their perspective. Go right?
I believe they're trying to bring all the gnomes into their own war effort.
Yeah. So what I'm going to handle, that is the idea that so at this stage, they're not seeing the Citadel itself as a threat, and they're seeing the gnomes as certainly a resource, and potentially the Citadel will be a resource if at some point in the future they're able to control it in some way. Is that correct?
He's sure that they're studying the technology as we speak and will try to put it into their magic as much as possible.
Yeah. But it means then that if we can convince them that in fact, well before they can actually try and do anything in electric resource or property resource out of the city, it's going to destroy Alphasia because of the degradation in its power level, because of the fact that the thing might explode at any moment. That in fact, very much in Alphasia's favour, if the Citadel can be removed from the
Though there is rumours.
Maybe move it to the Theatin side of, or either Theatin border or the Isle of Dawn. So if Alphasia can actually still go yet, we put those up.
There is a thought that they're looking at teleporting it above a city of their enemies, just letting it fall.
Really?
Well, if it breaks open upon impact and leaves the region uninhabitable, that would be another win.
Yes. So, at the argument the fact that then, yes, they do recognise that in the current location, there's a problem. They recognise again, it might be a resource if they can use it to make a very powerful bomb.
But they're that they are not announcing that, and that was discovered by some of their agents in Alphatia breaking into their Ministry of War.
Okay.
Hang on. It was discovered by agents breaking into Alphatia, or
by the Myoshima agents breaking into Alphatia to
oh
see
my
what
god,
they were doing.
yeah.
Because they don't trust
that
anyone. They don't trust anyone with the technology, so they're looking at what each of the nations have at their capacity.
Yeah, and Dimitri's certainly not arguing with the idea that we don't want the Alphatians to keep this resource, but he's just looking at ways that they're more likely wanting to, that they'll want to actively support the removal of it as opposed to having it taken off them and or threatened with orbital bombardment if they don't comply. So,
but he does say that the vehicles that they have seen the Master use in the latest Warfront do use similar principles on which the Gnomish flying city was built around. Just has a different power source.
And what's that?
It's using souls of people.
Alright.
but there's no indication that the floating mountain with the world tree on top of it, or the life tree, was originally one of the Gnomish infidels or had been connected with Blackboard technology at the time. Is that right?
That they believe is just the wibbly wobbly magic of people who have gathered too much power.
Yeah. It's not very much that the Gnomish infidel and the Master of the Mountain work in similar ways, more conversion technology or medical development.
Yep. They believe that the world tree may have actually powered its own move.
Yeah. Very so. Yeah. They're not like that finance and stuff, technologically speaking. The
Their time frame for being able to get everything set up to assist the gnomes is at least 3 months.
That would make sense.
How does that fit in with the Master's plan?
Well, the point is, from our perspective, we've got at least 3 to 6 months, hopefully, running around trying to build up support and growing up additional diplomatic ties and armies to help fight against the Master. While we're going through it, so if part of our mission was to be able to get the known support and the Citadel as part of not necessarily directly a fighting force, like they're not using the power of the Citadel like a fighting capability or a weapon capability, or hey, the gnomes are helping, they can provide their airships, and if the Citadel is around, hey, it becomes a floating logistic platform. It's a lot easier to maintain supplies and things like that. But that's probably because the people who are involved in the thought process that we might get their help had no idea what the power of the Citadel actually was. And what we understand, the gnomes had no idea what the power of the Citadel really is either. From the military perspective, thinking about interactions with the Alphatians and knowing that we've got the connection of Calvon, what was it? It was the ambassador from Canberra. Is there likely scenarios, such as in the instance of the citadel going to destroy our patriots that went there for even another year, and it should be removed as soon as possible, or some other story or tale, is that likely to be received by the operations?
Well, there's the likelihood that if the any of the elves from Alfheim migrate to Alphatia, there will be a voice behind destroying the Gnomish Sky City. And that's in the process of happening, and they will campaign it until it's done.
That's all. Obviously, we can therefore make it very clear that any destruction of the citadel while filming Alphatia is going to be much more destructive for Alphatia than it would be. Obviously, you've got a citadel, great. I'll get connected to the box, but if it destroys the continent at the same time, then that's a problem.
You don't think it'll destroy the continent, just the capital city?
No, these ones two times effectively with it. But the question then would be, based on the intelligence that they've received regarding potentially teleporting it somewhere else and dropping it, is there indication to how feasible or ready they are to do that, or is that still kind of hey, yeah, we're researching possible ways of doing it, but it's still at least a month, 6 months, 12 months, 10 years away?
You're looking at 1 to 5 years, they say, depending on how many of the mages get involved. If the council makes a decree that they're going to do this, then they could probably do it in less than a month.
Okay.
Because there's enough of those wizards with the power to work together, and they literally perform miracles as a unit.
Yeah.
They don't believe they do so very often.
If the these guys reckon they can get the appropriate equipment and ships together in 3 months, in time for the next conjunction of the moon, and in the meantime, we can try and convince Alphatia that the citadel is apparently, seemingly, going to blow up between 6 months and 12 months from now. That should put them at least on a footing enough that they will get rid of the citadel. But hopefully not desperate enough that they'll try and teleport it in a month. Especially when we can tell them that, hey, we've got a solution that can remove it in 3 months' time.
He does not recommend you do that because the gnomes have been lobbying for a chance to repair their own vessel because it is currently safe. And so they have been putting forward that that their citadel is not harmful to the environment. Otherwise, the Alphatians would be carving it up for materials. So you might undo what the gnomes have managed to do, is to keep their city intact at this stage.
Right, okay, this is what I'm trying to run through the calculations or the knowledge from Dimitri's perspective, what they put. Because then, what he's really looking for is trying to come up with a story or a justification as to why Alphatia wants to get rid of it.
They were using the threat of a war with an overwhelming force being enough for them to go, nope, take it. because they seem to deal with aggression more than they do with diplomacy because they believe they're better than everyone else.
Yeah, and like I say, from a customer perspective, I can certainly understand the thought process. And just trying to think about whether or not there are ways that they might be more willing to do it and make it feel like their own idea as opposed to being compelled to release it by an overwhelming force. But
or we could just show up and take it and not tell anyone, they say.
Well, that was the other question they say, Dimitri was trying to ask before. If their ships are a mile long type stuff, how low do they have to actually get above to actually connect up to the kitty?
To start raising it, they have to get within maybe 500 feet of it.
No, it's certainly not like they can do it without the infections noticing.
Though pillars of flame coming down towards them may scare the crap out of them.
But also, if the vessels are within a quarter mile of the 500 feet type stuff, then they're also well within range of retaliation from the Wizard Council if they decide to work together. So, not saying the tech would work, I'm okay that the tech would work, but they're well within range of the tech to do stuff to interfere with it.
That was why they were going to provide a threat of retaliation and overwhelming force, because the wrong person to start something may just create a battle that neither side could win.
Well, I guess again from what Dimitri knows and understanding the situation, are the locations aware enough of the capture technology, essentially based upon the discussion we had up ago, and how we exactly that with them, that if the capture decided that Alpacia was to essentially exist, the capture can do that, like, do they have reason to actually believe in the overwhelming force fight against them, or being Alpacia, they're pretty confident they had we're the most powerful nation in the system. Bring it on.
The Empress has been informed of our capabilities, which is why they don't ask us to join in their war effort. And why we have no outposts in their nations.
As far as they understand, Alpacia understands the relative forces involved.
The Empress of the nation, not sure how far it goes beyond the Empress.
Yeah, that's right. The Empress might know that again, they say how far can hold others, which again does raise the problem of there's a fair chance the Empress is not, but that will do you widely, because Alpacia would like to think that they're king of the world, and that there's no one bigger than they are, and yes, any ambition by the Empress, especially she's only been in power for like 200 years or so, might look bad about her unstable situation.
Well, we can also point out to them that if they damage any of our void ships, we might not be able to keep the skies above their kingdom or empire, as they want to say it, free from interference.
Is it likely or definite that the Alpacians are aware that the Myoshima had taken over some of those roles that they were previously protecting Mystara from?
Oh, they protect from the astral while we protect from the void. We both protect from different threats.
Yeah, but Alpacia is aware of the void.
They are aware that there are things out in the void, but they haven't seen the full effects of them.
And that's my concern is the fact that the threat of overwhelming force or the threat of overwhelming invasion from an external thought is only effective if the people believe that threat is a real threat. And if the attacker have successfully avoided or minimised the threat of the void all this time, well, I can speak with experience that most people out there have no understanding of what the threat of the void might be.
Well, they are willing to make an exception and show overwhelming force in the skies above Alphatia to let them know just how much of a problem they can be. It's against their beliefs to do so, but it's worse if the technology is abused in their opinion. The belief of getting technology out of the hands of those who will misuse it is far greater than to keep themselves hidden.
Yeah.
But they asked if either of you have any suggestions on what you'd like to do.
The mention technically trying to come up with effectively a alternative option that allows our face to believe it, allows the caster to maintain its apparent not so much anonymity, but maintain the fact that they're not known about.
Well, I'm happy to have the gnome drop that town on the master's town, and they're both killed.
The master may have the capacity to reignite it on his own.
Sorry, Martin, I'm going to have to go because I'm feeling a bit tired at the moment. So.
All good. You go rest up.
Yeah, no problems, guys. Have a good time tonight. Thank you, guys.
Alright,
so that's another thing. Okay.
The other factor that would be a problem with trying to drop the Novi Citadel on top of the Master Mountain is we don't know whether or not the Master has the power to effectively deflect or hack the Citadel, in which case then we can get in the Citadel on top of the mountain. So I'd be currently hesitant about trying to use the Citadel directly against the Master, at least until we've got firm control of it anyway.
Yeah.
And plus the Alphatia is unlikely to drop it on the Master. They're more likely to drop it on Galantry City, Dorican City,
Exactly.
or Thyata City.
Particularly not Darrigan. I haven't experienced a big with Darrigan yet, have they?
With what's happening in Dorican, it's sort of impeding them able to get into Galantry, as Alpheim has sided with Alphatia.
Yeah. Again, as I say, if they're going to do the equivalent of a nuclear weapon situation, I wouldn't have thought Darrigan would have been their preferred target, unless maybe they were recognizing that Galantry might be able to dodge it, but Darrigan wouldn't. Yeah, either way, we don't really want the Alphatians trying to drop it anywhere if we can avoid it. So
The cats agree with you on that one. Which is why they've been working on various means to move it or remove it.
What kind of time period are we talking about for bringing in the ship, connecting it up, raising the Citadel, and powering it up, assuming everything goes nice and smoothly according to plan.
They think they can lift it in less than a day, but it would probably take them close to a month to generate the spark powerful enough to restart it.
And,
assuming nothing goes wrong in the process.
Yeah, and the ship has the power enough to lift the citadel, and then it can be carried to another location, as opposed to being hovering above our base for a month.
Once they take it, they intend to move it out over the ocean.
Yeah. But anyway, in that sense, it's probably at least 48 to 72 hours of activity above Helvetia. So again, not necessarily something to be done without them noticing. We can't come still in the night.
They do say that if they came in at night, they'd probably light up the region as bright as the sun as they came down.
Yes, the military has been deliberately a bit facetious about the idea of confirming exploring options and confirming ones that won't work. It's trying to find the 999 ways of not doing it, so therefore we get away with it.
Right, you have a feeling that they've actually rejected many of their options, and this is the closest they've come to the least objectionable plan. They haven't actually had a plan yet that they think would be great.
Yes, exactly. The least worst plan.
Their ideal plan would be to not be seen at all, and have no one know that they are involved.
And obviously that would be great, but
but to do that, you would need to have access to technology so advanced it doesn't exist yet.
Wow.
Or at least has not since the vessel from the future crash landed in the past.
Yes. But yes, ideally, the world would never know, or would continue to not know the presence of the factor. But yes, that's unfortunately not likely. However, if we can get the if you ensure that our facial remains neutral at very least, it's not friendly and supportive of the idea of removal as well. Is there manners or situations that we might be able to try and disguise the Caxton bits and technology while it's traveling over our picture?
Well, from there...
obviously, there must be bigger ships than anyone ever flown before the airships that we're aware of. If we can make them look like big airships.
If they do it mostly at night, it will look like the sky has a ring of fire above them. And they may assume it is the work of their fire god known as Ixion, whose symbol is a ring of fire. And they believe that the superstitious rubes would fall for it.
So certainly we can allow the population of Alphatia to believe that, even if the Empress and her council have a better understanding, because obviously they're going to have to be made aware of the reality of the threat that the Caxton can provide if they chose to do so.
If they choose not to interfere, then we should be well on our way to looking after things.
I guess.
So if you can think of something else, they're more than happy to take any other suggestions you might have. Just that they're at the end of what they think is capable versus what will succeed.
Yeah. Obviously, if anybody could think of another plan of option, it would be Dimitri, but as a plan, I can't think of yours.
Well, they would teleport it themselves, but they don't have a teleporter able to move something that large. And if they were to do it piecemeal, then they would cause a breach in the containment system of the vessel, which would then destroy the city anyway.
What about Redrian? What Dimitri knows of Redrian's knowledge and capabilities, is he likely to be able to remove or provide cover for the situation, knowing that Redrian certainly wants to hide his own capabilities and powers from the other mortal?
Well, as a character, Dimitri is also aware that Redrian was actually the engineer who worked on the engine that powers the new city when it was still attached to the Beagle. So if anyone has knowledge on how to get it working again safely, he's probably the last one around who could still do that.
Certainly it's going to be definitely advantageous to have him available. And I expect you'll be interested to know about, hey, we found some more evidence of more technology rocking around the world, but is Redrian likely to have capacity to effectively do the teleport to Citadel somewhere else?
You don't think he'd have the capacity to teleport it, but he'd probably have the knowledge to activate it.
Yeah.
And he may not need the jumpstart the gnomes believe they require.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, if the gnomes think they need a hammer to get things started with, he may think of a easier solution.
That's right. He never come up with a screwdriver that just adjusts this, they got here, and hey, look.
So yes, you actually have come up with a solution that would probably work 1,000 times better. It may even allow the ship to take off under its own power without destroying the capital of our fate here at the same time.
Yeah, but obviously it does rely on getting in contact with Redrian to confirm that he's available to get there, which obviously shouldn't be that hard. But also I guess sort of option B, C, etc. Not thinking that Redrian would be good enough to actually, or hasn't got enough power or capability to hide his power to actually teleport the Citadel somewhere where he can then work on it at leisure. If it does require the assistance of the Recastan board group, would there might be ways of Redrian being able to hide their access or interface for long enough to allow the Recastan to deal with Citadel without the operation actually being a rule or no? I'm guessing not, but I'm looking at each one of the options.
The Recastans do state they can use some of their technology to make their vessels not appear visible to people, but the effects of their engines are generally easy to perceive, even if the rest of the ship is not.
Yeah, and a bit like the idea of, you can hit the water if you walk into a puddle of water. It's very easy to see where you are.
It may cause enough confusion that no one does something, but they had dismissed it out of the belief that if they couldn't see the technology, they may assume it's a gallantry attack and retaliate on the spot.
Yeah. Well, and there's also the element of, and as I said, Dimitri might be able to cultivate or consider it, or they know whether or not their technology, like the quality technology type stuff, would or could be countered by the equivalent of Brazilian type tactics, which obviously, they can totally access to.
They do say that certain magic can see through their light bending defenses. Because technically they don't make the ship invisible, they just bend the light around it.
Yeah.
Which, from your perspective as a wizard, that's exactly what illusion does.
Yeah. And so, effectively, a true seeing type effect is definitely going to spot the ship, so therefore, even if they weren't giving away where they were, it would require, potentially, rendering support his magical capability to counter the nature of them. Okay. The potential of getting rendering to the Citadel for the next few months, and he can actually try to get it working up and running. It may not require the custom input at all, which obviously works well for them, because it means they don't have to worry about the closing themselves, and they're probably be happier, or at least more willing to accept the Nomi Citadel being reactivated when the influence of someone who is not a child play with nations, with practice.
They do also say that if the Alphatians teleport the Citadel, they'll most likely use the capabilities of the engine to travel between the stars to do so. Basically, they believe the city has the capability to teleport, it just needs the power running through the right section. But the gnomes didn't have access to that.
No. And again, if and when the gnomes get access to the Citadel here, then we're going to get access to that truck. Okay. We'll allow them enough knowledge to let the ship float around and maintain a water supply.
That they used a phrase, well, the cat will be out of the bag at that stage. When they see it happen, they'll know it's possible.
Not possible, but at least they won't necessarily be able to do it immediately. And I'm sure that some quiet activities here and there can ensure that their technological advances happen very, very slowly.
And that may be one way of getting the Nomi city out of the clutches of the Alphatians, is if they can just power up that part of the device, it may be able to move it to another safer location.
Yeah, and again, that's the thought process that if the gnomes currently get it moving themselves, then Alphatia can't complain about the removal of it, because obviously, they still may, but officially, they were supporting the gnomes while they were repairing their Citadel. It is not typically enough time to actually repair their Citadel, but actually repair the assets instead.
Since that is correct, they will do what they can. He just hopes that we manage to get it out before it is broken or beyond repair.
Well, okay, so I'm thinking that after having a careful analysis discussion and processes and different pieces, that we've come down to
A nicer solution than their original one of you use a heavy claw instead of soft paw.
And from their perspective, they're happy to do that. What Dimitri will be offering is the idea that the Myoshima prepare to come in force in 20 months' time when the moon realigns, with the intent that worst case scenario, they'll be there ready to use all of it, and then grab the citadel, lift it up, take it away, and then we'll look to start it up somewhere safe distance. However, in the meantime, we can go back down to the planet, and then try and contact and discuss with Legion whether there's any possibility for him to repair the ship and get it active without destroying Alphasia or the ship, and therefore get it lifted up, so therefore it can move off apparently under the known powers, and therefore Alphasia can't control as much. And or we can try and go down the diplomacy route with Alphasia and explain that the citadel will be removed, and we'll talk about your help, and it's going to happen 3 months from now, so if we can't get it really itself, and then in the intervening 3 months, obviously, the captain will be gathering their forces and also monitoring development down there. And if the citadel has to move, right, he'll have an IT party in 3 months' time to discuss exactly what we're going to do with the citadel there afterwards. Or 3 months, Operation becomes aware of the captain capability, and we will plan to minimise the awareness of the captain for the local, for the main population and for the main world.
So the Rakasa do give Trellin a case of magical tokens. There are 50 of them in the case. They say give these to the gnomes who can't make it back to the city before it leaves, and the Rakastans will collect any of them who activate the tokens.
So one
The ones that are left in Alphatia, they say, and they can take more than one with each token, so as long as each group of gnomes has a token with them, they'll collect all the gnomes there.
Okay, so how do we get back in the boat?
So they can take you back to the Wave Rider.
Okay.
And that they are curious as to why you've got an astral ship doing planar travel. So an astral ship doing void style travel.
Beats me.
I like to have an option at the point in time.
Yes. But they believe that
there's a reason we came to visit at this time of the year, as opposed to when the void travel will be required.
But they do offer both Trellin and Dimitri a chance to come back at some point. They don't really trust Bradshaw at this point because dwarves ask too many questions.
Yeah, we're to have been so talkative and interrupting all the conversations.
And also, they're a little too closely aligned with gnomes for their comfort.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'll hand them out.
Or they don't mind if you give them to this Redrian who you believe has knowledge of this system, and he may be able to distribute it amongst the gnomes himself, or get the gnomes to distribute it. Once you get your tech person onto the vessel, then you probably won't be needed for unless he needs you for support.
Okay.
It's not really a physical thing they believe, but who knows what is actually needed, considering again it is tech beyond their skill.
Because they're obviously a bit like the gnomes. As long as they know the hammer will do the job, and therefore the hammer's going to deliver the payable. Yes. They don't know how to use the screwdriver in the situation, but they recognise that a screwdriver might work, but they just don't understand how it works.
Yeah. As far as the gnomes are concerned, they used what they thought the piece was and said, we need this piece replaced. The Thothians went, well, we can provide the power that piece is supposed to do, but it'll take a long time. The Rakastas said that, well, we could do the equivalent of that, but it would take a lot of time, but not as long as you'd expect. But it is a lot of effort on their part. Yeah. But they do have the faster approach than the Thothians by a few hundred years. The fact that you came wanting to do what they were in the process of trying to figure out was how you got a pass to come into their what they say is their construction zone.
I mean, what they're thinking, Dimitri obviously knows the group, but I want you to see the wandering intellect of Dimitri.
I'm sure they will be considering cloning you if you. Hey, who knows? They might clone you and see which one comes out smarter.
Well, imagine what a wonderful place the world would be if there was two Dimitris.
Imagine.
I mean, most importantly, Dimitri would have someone to talk to.
And then he'd have all these jokes about being beside himself.
Yeah.
The intent would be for us at that stage to, the Dimitri recruitment team is the Rakasta E, or at least willing, or accepting. That there's no need for us to ask them the wage rider to leave immediately. We don't have to leave for another couple of days yet. He'd certainly be keen to hang around and talk to some of the other engineers and have a look at some of their libraries and things like that.
They pat Dimitri on his back mid statement and saying, well, we feel this is quite urgent and we recommend a quick start, and we're sure that you'll have plenty of time sometime in the future to come back and deal with your curiosity, because you know all those sayings about curiosity and cats, don't you?
Well, okay. Okay, not so much for the curious, because he already knows the information, he's just confirming his knowledge.
You find that Dimitri's more escorted back to the seat to take him home, whereas Trellin, who has been given the box, is asked if he would like to leave with his friend who is being forcibly taken. You can hear someone in the background saying, "Are you sure he's not part gnome?"
Yeah. Okay, I need to ask the ex-halfling. But yeah, okay. Certainly what would happen was Dimitri would be keen to be at the stay. Hey, we've got 3 days to travel. I certainly don't. Yeah, he's not arguing or concerned about the idea of, hey, we might have got up maybe get ready a bit for the project. In which case then, when we get back to the Wave Rider, we're going to start going down. What was the time taken to get up initially again? How many hours did it take to get up?
You'd think it was quite a few hours to get up. The Wave Rider is fairly fast, so once it gets to a certain height, you have no feeling of speed.
Yeah, like that, it was a matter of hours, not a matter of half days or things like that.
It was hours.
I guess the main question we've got to think about then when we get back to the Wave Rider is exactly where we want to get dropped off next.
If you get to Karamikos, you can fulfill your primary mission.
Having provided and sending back or providing the treaty that you get signed that hey, we don't necessarily be around anywhere where Fayette spies or captain can catch up with us. But I'm also thinking of the idea of finding Redrian, but technically we can call Redrian while we're on the Wave Rider and give you an update on the situation, including the discovery of the likely technology in that cell that is a part of the possibly engine from the Beagle. Which, as I said, I'm sure that Redrian will be keen to find out about. But then, yeah, he's saying that our first stop will be back to Karamikos to provide the treaty support that says that Efan can become king as opposed to a grand duke.
And Karamikos and Traldara can be free from Thayatan Dominion. I'm sure that would be a selling point for Dimitri.
Yeah, exactly. Recognizing that Efan is not necessarily quite the same as all the other Thayatans, but still, it's a step in the right direction.
Well, he does have the red hair and the look of Halev.
Yeah, well, and the whole core of Halev that believes that he's the return of Halev, but we all know who the real return of Halev is, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, Halev. Okay, so a couple of hours later, you find yourself back at the Wave Rider, and you find Plumman tied to the post. Apparently, Rin didn't like his advances.
Well, I'm not too concerned that possibly one of the faster Lion could stay on board the ship to help him do anything untoward, and that Plumman tried to challenge.
He may have, but you do more suspect it was the
really certainly one that and having some interest. If Parliament continued his attempt at foreplay, then we can obviously put it in place. Okay.
Okay, and as soon as you're on board, the captain says he's gotten word to take you back to the Mystara. He's more than happy to go, and happy not to spend too much time in the cat's world.
Yes, we can. Good on.
He says, we've already had everything ready to go since we got word of you coming back.
How do you think that happened? Good said.
Well, it beats being used for target practice.
Indeed. And is there likely to be any concern or dangerous interaction between the use of Regime staff whilst travelling between the world? Technically, it's on the S2E05, there could be any concern. But double check if there's likely. If there's any chance if there's any concern, then hey, we can go to Canberra and pull things in from there. But if there's nothing going to be happening, then
well, you'd probably believe you'd probably believe to wait until you'd actually passed back into Mystara space and left the cat space.
Okay.
Just to make sure you don't do anything that angers them, such as sending a communication message from within their territory.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Like from an engineer's perspective and from our perspective, it's not like a few hours making a difference here or there. But if we walk out here, hey, if it was simple, then that's the easy way to go. In which case then, next destination is Speculado.
Okay, so on your way down, you managed to get Redrian without too much hassle. And what do you ask of him?
Now, the staff, they can effectively provide like telephone communication type stuff, which is more like a message, SMS type stuff.
Well, it's more like telephone, but occasional images can also be sent as well.
Yeah, okay. Initially then, it'll be basically a short report and an explanation or comment to the fact that yes, as per RID directives, we found further evidence of old technology, which needs to be further investigated, and so we can provide greater report in detail in person if suitable, or if he wants to actually talk about it over the staff while we're travelling down, then we can give a full report discussing the fact that the ownership seems to have realistically, it will be a short report while we're still in the wave rider, because while it's likely that all the staff here are not, they're working with Mercury anyway, it's probably better to not have potential eavesdropping ears without needing to.
Redrian says he will meet you at the Knights River Inn in Speculara when you finish with the treaty. He would like to have a chance to go through everything you saw and did.
Yeah, and we'll be starting to effectively right up into the core of on the Wave Rider, including recreating the specifications and diagrams and things like that, and the other technology and things that the machines had.
And you find Drazzle created some of your work for you.
Well, I was going to say, it was going to rely on this ideas memory going through, but happy that Drazzle has the more artistic bent, so it's the sort of thing that, while making those you people have to look, there's going to be some of the skill directly produce that in the drawing.
You get a feeling from Drazzle that the cat's got some of it wrong.
Well, it would be the sort of thing that if Drazzle can like some of those corrections what the cat had, then Dimitri, rather than rewriting or only putting down what Drazzle suggests, will ensure that in fact he shows the difference between the two understanding.
Well, Drazzle suggests annotation.
Yeah, exactly.
You do get chased down by the Haldanic warbirds on the way down. But as fast as the warbirds, as fast as the warbirds were, and they are the fastest thing you'd been in previously, this ship has outclassed them. Most Alpha 18 ships can't fly faster than the warbirds.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm flagging pretty badly at the moment. I was going to do a combat with you, but I'm not sure I'm up to it tonight.
No, I'm happy that that's a convenient place to be pausing. I wanted to make a statement when I actually, if I tried to find my notes where it was, but yes, if we got chased by the Haldanic Knights, Dimitri wouldn't be concerned if the gunner, whose names I can't find in my notes immediately, but I've got to somewhere, but hey, that would be up to them. And whether or not they really want when the kid wants the Wave Rider to be shooting at Haldanic Knights.
Well, you have the knowledge to know that there is only one point on the ship you need to hit to take it out.
So you take out Haldanic Knights, you mean?
Yep.
Well, he wouldn't necessarily be aiming to actually, if the Wave Rider crew are not aware of how to take out Haldanic Knight, I don't think Dimitri's personally that concerned about, or that animosity against Haldanic Knight that you need them to know about it on this occasion.
Okay. So that they do the warning shots instead of the direct attack, basically to have some form of civilness. Because if they take out a group of warbirds, then they're basically going to be wanted criminals from the Haldanic Knights for the rest of their career.
And that was basically the situation that, hey, if Sid and his crew want that, that's up to them. It's not something that Dimitri would recommend, but hey, it might have other history with the Haldanics.
And once they get down to the Karamikos level, the warbirds have peeled off. But they chased you for about 5 days.
Okay, sure. The Karamikos airplane, but it's basically, all good. Well, did we actually left the special arm, didn't we, in the Wave Rider?
You did.
Yeah, so obviously the appearance of the Wave Rider in special arm, whilst would be a spectacle for most of the populace, is not an unknown invader. So
they were expecting it back.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Sorry it's a short game, just we sometimes have those when I'm not up to it.
I'm not unhappy at all to have an early night party. It's been a long week already, and we're only halfway through it.
Okay.
I'm still looking forward to a long weekend.
Well, good night then, guys.
Okay.
Have a good night. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Catch you later.